Tonight on James Talk Africa, my guests are James and Linda Ogunshola, leaders of the Christ Disciples Missionary Foundation in Nigeria. Tonight we talk about almost 4 decades of an adventure with God. This is a couple who left a possibility of a very thriving career to go into the interior, remote parts of northern Nigeria almost 40 years ago, looking for a group of people that were at that time naked in the Mubi Mountains. This couple, just after they got married, abandoned everything with a quest to make Christ known where he has not been known before. Tonight we sit down to look back at what motivated them, their love story, as well as their love for the Lord and their love for souls. Tonight on James Talk Africa. When we do that, please like this video and leave a comment below. Let's know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell button and share this video with somebody.
From Cape Town to Cairo and from Mogadishu to Dakar, this is James Talk Africa. And now here's your host, Chim Onyibilanma.
Hi there, welcome to this segment of your show. Like I said in the introduction, I'm just so happy that we have with us today our dear brother James and sister Linda, the Ogunsholas, who are the leaders of Christ Disciples Missionary Foundation. Bro James, sister Linda, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
1985, for some people watching, is long before they were born. Now, you at that point, while you were serving, after you were serving as your 1-year compulsory paramilitary training that everybody who goes to tertiary institution in Nigeria goes through, you decided to abandon everything. Normally, young people would go from there, look for a good job, try to live the good life. Why did you decide to go to the mission field instead?
81, there was a congress on evangelization on our campus.
Okay.
And some missionaries came from Capri, Okubayo, Ni, Bade, and a few others. And they just needed people to put up a drama at that program. So they came to our fellowship, and of course, were a bit free. So I became part of it. It was in that setting, during the rehearsals. Okubayo Famonure will talk about the statistics of unreached people, you know, and then African countries, Senegal, 90-something% Islam. I never knew. So, but my encounter with the missionaries, I actually visited them at their base in Kauna. And what I saw, I said, these people, you know, it was like I was moved. So, and they lived in a rural setting. Within those years before I graduated, you know, I understood I wasn't going to take a job per se for job's sake. Even if I was going to do a job, it was going to be an outlet for that passion to help, you know. You see, rural-urban continuum was what they taught us. No light, no water, no hospital, you know. Before you get to small towns, urban fringe towns, urban. Say, so what do we do with these people without amenities? So I think before the national service, God had prepared me, just as he also has his own story, you know. But I went in for my national service on arrangement to serve with Capro. And that was where I went that year, you know, and I met him as a student also. So we had different stories, and we...
So you both met at the Capro School of Mission. Yes. So tell me how you got there. She has said how she got there.
Yeah.
Not James.
Well, it's a different story.
Did they force you there?
No.
Or were you looking for a wife?
No, not at all. Not at all. Actually, I got born again in 1976 when I was leaving secondary school. And I didn't have enough money to go to higher institution. So I decided that until I get a scholarship or a school that they will pay me salary, I'm not furthering my education, because my father didn't have enough money. You know, so I started working. I worked with NEPA, worked with Ministry of Agri. Eventually, I got to one that looks lucrative, NIHOT. He said they would train me as a Greek officer. While in training, they continue to pay my salary.
Exactly what you wanted.
So I said, this is better for me. So from NEPA, I went to Ministry of Agri, from Ministry of Agri to NIHOT. And while I was in NIHOT, as they were processing, I was working on the farm. I was waiting for that 1 year experience before I go to School of Agri and all those things. I now got a federal government scholarship to go and read textile engineering in Poland. And then I said, this is also better than this one. So I went for that one. I traveled abroad. So while abroad, in Poland, a communist country, before we left, they told us that in communist country, you don't preach the gospel, they punish you, they catch Bible with you and all those things. So I bought a very small Bible. I said, so this one, the person that will remove this Bible in my pocket will remove all my life. So I bought a very small Bible and I put it. I said, they can take every other thing, but this one, they must not. Okay. But when we got there, we discovered that it was not real. 99% of Polish people were Christians. Catholics, yes. So there was freedom of worship. I joined a singing group. We were singing together. We are only two blacks, in a community of maybe so many people. So in our church, we form a singing group, and the people also believe they must not preach. But we said, let us go out. So we started going to the park, and then we are only two blacks. People will gather, they want to see black, and then we had that opportunity of preaching to them. So along the line, one night, I now had a dream. I started learning how to play guitar. I found myself at the bank of a river, and I took my guitar, I was playing it, and I was singing in Polish that everybody must know who Jesus is. And then these 3 children came, and then they told me, who is this Jesus? And I woke up. I said, what kind of a dream is this? I didn't tell them who Jesus is, and I woke up. From there, I started feeling that my coming to Poland will not be actually the issue, but a tool to do God's work. But I finished my education, came back to Nigeria. I was posted to Kaduna to serve the compulsory 1-year service. I now got to know about Capro. When I got to know about Capro, I now had that same dream again. This time around,
the same one you had in Poland.
The same river, the same box guitar, the same song, but 3 women who looked like the mothers of those children I saw. So I said, what kind of a thing is this? When I got to know about Capro, they started telling us about rural mission, going to other countries to preach the gospel, Ethiopia, Egypt, and then I started looking at the vision I had many years ago, that the children and the women are not Africans. And if they are Africans, they are not black Africans. And I started hearing about going to Ethiopia, going to Egypt and all those things. I said, God must be saying something more spectacular than I thought in my life. So when I finished my NYSC, I said, I must know more about this thing. I packed my load, went to a Capro School of Mission in Kauna. She was already there as a copper because I served 82, 83, but I was a spillover. So we actually did the same orientation because I came back in November. I missed the orientation in 82. I did orientation in 83. That was where we met for the first time. She was already in the School of Missions, and then I now came. She said, what are you doing here? I said, I came for School of Missions. I said,
did you know each other before?
In the camp.
In the camp, okay, you met in the camp, and then after the camp,
I was their driver.
So you met in the camp, then now you met at the School of Missions. Without both of you knowing you were both coming to the School of Missions?
Nothing.
Okay.
But God spoke to her that in the orientation camp, that watch this man well. So when she now saw me, but that time she threw it away, say, somebody that's not going to be a missionary, it can never happen. When I now came to School of Missions, I said, God, what are you talking about?
This
man has come and meet me here again. It's becoming a reality.
So it was at School of Mission the love story started?
Yes, that is
Tell us how it started.
But when we were in Kauna,
at the School of Mission?
Yes. So one evening, somebody just came in like that. I said, this is our brother that used to drive bus.
During the camp?
And what is this? You know, that kind of thing. And I discountenanced it. But I had a friend who was also a student, and I was now not comfortable. So we were praying together. And that's Patience Ahmed. Yeah. And I told her, this is inordinate affection. Let us pray about it.
And let God remove it.
No, it's that I'm just being frank. And I was able to talk to my friend about it, that this thing, no, let's handle it. I didn't come here for nonsense.
You came here to serve God.
So that was, but I also discovered that I needed to pray. And by the end of that year, I needed to take time off to ask the Lord, what are you? And the person himself did not tell me anything. He didn't talk to me. It was only me. And I think God needed to arrest me first, because I think I was really...
Your mind was not in the right place
yet.
Yeah.
But in that kind of thing at that time. So,
you had to prepare your mind.
Yes. So that's at end of year into the new year. I didn't travel. We came back from last year's gathering, and I took time off to really be with the Lord. And I had a word, but I just had it to myself. And when my friend came, I said, this is what the Lord said. You know, I needed somebody to work with me on that part, because I didn't want anything to stop my walk with God at my call.
To do what God wanted to do.
But I think it took another 2-3 months or so before.
It was around March.
Yes, he spoke up. And that
so you came, Brother James?
Yes.
You were convinced at the stage?
Yes, I was convinced
that this is the lady you're going to serve God with in the mission.
We were not even friends that time.
But you were convinced now that she's going on the same road, I'm going on the same road. Why don't we go together?
Yes.
So you spoke to her, and the rest is history. Well, you took her together, you both went to the Mubi Hills.
Yes.
We're talking about the northeastern parts of Nigeria.
Yes.
We're talking about a place that will be foreign to most people who come from the southern part of Nigeria. You people are from the southern part of Nigeria.
I'm from Ibadan.
You're from Ibadan.
Yes, he's from Ibadan.
I mean, some people in the south have never gone to the north, even the popular north. Not to talk of going to the interiors.
Yes.
How was it? How was it, Sister Linda, the first years in the hills? What did you meet? Because he's been there, and you probably visited once, but this is the first time coming to fully live there. How was it for you? Newly married young woman. Tell them.
We had gone earlier, we met. What the report he brought was the women were wearing leaves. The men, well, they put on, some younger men put on trousers, but the older men put on skin. And so we actually confirmed it, and by the time we got back after our wedding, it was difficult to settle there because there was no base, as it were. But within those few months we had earlier on spent, there were some brethren that offered us room, that when you come back from your wedding, you can stay here in the town. And for about 3 to 4 years, he was on the hills. I took a job at the government secondary school so that we could have something
to support ourselves.
Yes. And by the time we were going and coming, we saw that we can't make any impact by going and coming.
Non-residential.
Yes. Though we know the holidays, of course, will be there, that kind of a thing. But at the end of 4 years, we left.
And went there
completely. We had 2 boys.
You left your job then?
Yeah.
And you had 2 boys by then?
Yes. Of course, we had to, because that was what the Lord asked us to come there to do. And by this time, we had made a few more friends. People had known that we had a passion for that work. So we're not all alone any longer. But living with the people was just, we lived in our own type of house, similar to their own. The only difference was that we tried to put on a roof with zinc sheets, because we didn't really know how we maintain grass. But the training we had in roofing houses was not enough. The first wind blew it off. And, eventually we lived with them, go to the same river. We acquired the Hausa language first, but these people were not Hausa people.
Yes.
And
they had their own indigenous language.
Yes.
So those difficult times of communicating, sometimes we used interpreters, we later discovered that these people were not saying what we were saying, but the life was such that as we lived among them, we were able to become friends, and the few things we knew how to do, we were able to teach them. Even the use of fertilizer on farm.
It was strange to them.
You know, even the making of oil. You would think that every community should know it. They farm their groundnuts, take to the farm, take to the market, and buy groundnut cake. That's the kuli and they buy oil. So some of those things, you know, I will learn from women in the town, then come to teach them, and it was not difficult. We're making sacrifices, so we're not suffering. And we couldn't wear any fine clothes, not because we didn't have them. They were in our boxes.
Yeah, because you wanted to look close
like
to them
as possible.
To identify with them, which is very important in reaching them.
Yes. And gradually, they were being won to the Lord. And we're not only just wanting them to become children of God. We had to do literacy work so that some of them could read. We had to help them with, you know, different things that, you know, when children are naked and it is harmattan, you just get confused.
You expose them to all kinds of things.
So we had to source for used
clothing
clothes
materials.
and
so as to reduce the mortality rate.
Yes.
Oh.
and
Wow. But the work grew from there into Cameroon, into Chad. And today you are coordinating everything from the southern part of Nigeria in Ibadan. Tell us a bit about what led to the growth, Bro James. What factors made you? I know in the beginning you were talking about Egypt, Ethiopia, and here you are now talking about Chad. Cameroon. How did you go from that? It's Fali people, right?
Fali
people now going to tell us how did it go?
You know, Mubi is a border town.
Yeah.
And the first church founded on Juluvo land is a village close over to Cameroon. In fact, from that village, you can trek for 30 minutes. And in fact, the next village is Cameroon.
Okay.
So after that village, when you trek for another 30 minutes, you are in a big city of Cameroon known as Gili, where they have a very big market and the seat of a government. Okay. So we started planting churches from village to village. Once you get to the next village and there's no church there, we put a church there. So we didn't actually know when we entered Cameroon until when we started building a church. Because the reason why I didn't know is this. In the last village, which is Bana people, that's their language, is Nigeria. The next village is still Bana, is Cameroon. So the people that used to come from the next village from Cameroon to our church in Bana
were speaking the same language.
They now said, we are many now. Come and start a church for us in our village. So we agreed. When we started building church, then another came from the village head of the old tribe that we were building a church in a Cameroon land without taking permission. We said, we don't know. So they invited our pastor there. So the pastor told them that we are having a church. Then the village head invited the village head where we are building a church to come and tell him why he didn't come to report us. So the man said, they are not the one building it. We, the villagers, are the one building the church ourselves. He said, oh, you are the one building it and you are my village head. So why did your people come to report them? He said, I don't know why. If you are aware of it, then I am aware of it. Then tell them to write a formal letter that they are building a church in Cameroon land, and then we leave them. So that's what we did.
This is not foreigners building it, it's
the people. And then the village
That's
head
so
is part
wise.
of our member.
So wise.
So he said, there is no problem. That was how we got our first permission to work in Cameroon, land, without going to Yaoundé or anything.
And it grew from there.
Yeah, from there it grew.
Wow.
That is number one. Then Chad issue. I was having this notion that one day I will meet those people I saw in my dream.
Wow.
So now, when a brother came to me and said, we are going to N'Djamena, I said, you are going to N'Djamena? Even to go and play, let me follow you. So I followed him. We spent only 24 hours and we came back. But I had my contacts. I met a missionary who had settled down in N'Djamena, and I told him, when I want to come back, you are my contact. He said, no problem. So I've now purposely went there to go and survey what we can do to make our work, to start our work in Chad. They said, if I want to go, just tell them you want to learn French or Arabic. You get a resident permit. So when I went the second time, you can stay in Jamena for about 3 days before you go and get a resident permit. So I applied for one. He said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to learn French and Arabic. Oh, wow. I said, how long are you giving me? He said, stay here for life, don't go back. He said, the man told me, he said, Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad, no difference. So that was how.
That is beautiful to hear for a missionary.
That was how we started the work in
Okay, and God started to prosper it from there.
From there, then we moved to the north, we moved to the south.
And this is, we're talking here, somewhat of 40 years, almost 40 years.
Almost 40
In
years.
3 years' time, if I count from 1985,
Yes, it will be 40.
it will be 40 years. And this is 40 years of faithfulness that is seated here, of seeking out those who have never heard the gospel. Our time, as you have noticed, is running up and down. But you're doing a beautiful work even in the south in helping churches to focus on those who come from these unreached people, Muslims who are coming down to the cities in the south of Nigeria, diaspora work. We've not had time to go into this, and I don't know if we can go into it. I'm just mentioning it so that people can know there's a lot more happening that we're not mentioning. You have schools, you have primary schools and secondary schools, things where you are using education to reach young people. We've not talked about that. But I want to ask, what will be your last word? James, your last word.
Yeah, my last word is actually to the youth as well. I see it as a privilege that if you know what God wants you to do in life on time, and you begin to do it when you are still young, it is a privilege. Don't wait until when you are finished, working with the government and now you are now 50-something, and you say, yes, I remember God called me 20, 30 years ago.
Let me go and do
It is a privilege. The story we are telling today is because we knew what God wanted us to do, and we started doing it on time, and then we have the story today.
Don't drag your feet when God is calling.
You
respond now. It's a privilege to be called by God.
And then you obey on time. That's my last word.
Wow, what a powerful way to end this. It's a privilege to be called by God, and what a beautiful testimony you are as a couple. Responding to that call, counting it a privilege, counting all the ups and downs in it as a privilege. And wow, the Lord bless you, the Lord sustain you. The Lord multiply the works of your hand. Thank you so much for coming on this show.
Amen.
And may the Lord continue to enlarge you.
Amen.
We've been talking to our dear brother James and sister Linda Ogunshola. They are leaders of the Christ Disciples Missionary Foundation with a headquarters in Ibadan in Nigeria, the southwestern part of Nigeria. And thank you so much for joining us.
God bless you. Thank you.
God bless you.
Hi there and welcome back. I'm sure you must have been challenged by this couple as I was. I tell you the truth that I believe that at this day and age we need more people like this couple, like James and Linda. There surely should be more young people who are willing to leave the rat race and just listen to the call of the Lord to those who have not yet heard the gospel. Before I talk a bit more about that, I just want to say once again that you can get involved with the work that James and Linda are doing. You can use the contact on the screen right now as I'm speaking, which we displayed earlier on, to get involved with them. We're displaying here both their phone numbers, their contact addresses in Nigeria, as well as their bank details. You can send your gift to their ministry to this bank details here. You can prayerfully support them. If you contact them, they would love to send you information about their work, which spans into several countries in West Africa with schools and all kinds of initiatives they are doing to reach those who have never heard. You can also go and become a missionary with them, or else give towards their ministry. It will be wonderful to see more and more people coming behind this kind of quest. You see, the truth is this, and like I've said here several times on this program, there's still many unreached people group. When James and Linda went to those mountains in the Mubi Mountains in former Gongola State, which is now Adamawa in northern encountered Nigeria. They went in those days and they found the people who were naked. They found the people who had never heard the gospel. The government didn't even know those kind of people were there. But today in Africa, there's still several parts of Africa where there are populations who have never had the opportunity to hear the gospel once. And God is looking for people like you who can go, who can give, who can pray. And I want to challenge you to use this opportunity of the story of James and Linda to challenge yourself and say, am I living in the call of God for my life? Am I risking it all just to obey God and do what He has called me to do? Here's where we round up this week. I hope to see you same station, same time next week. God bless you and bye. Please like this video and leave a comment below. Let's know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell button and share this video with somebody else.